Hey there, and welcome to another episode on the One Income Family podcast. One of the hardest things to do is to tell yourself no. Keeping other people accountable and knowing that you have others to keep you accountable makes the hard decisions so much easier because you get that little feeling like someone's watching you and they're going to ask you if you did what you said you were going to do. But when you are the only one keeping yourself accountable, it can be so easy to change your mind or to rationalize that you can do something else or that it won't make that much difference if you say yes this one time. You give yourself loose boundaries and find yourself continuously saying yes and making the situation worse, be it putting off a task that now has to be done tomorrow, or you've put yourself into a financial struggle. This is what today's episode is all about: setting strong boundaries and giving yourself the help to say no when you would normally say yes. This episode is going to give you the ability to set strong boundaries and say no to your overspending habits. So grab yourself a pen and paper because today's episode is chock full of information that you are not going to want to forget. So let's dive in. Do you find it hard to save or get out of debt? Are you constantly searching for ways to save money and live on a budget? Do you have big dreams only to be stopped by not sticking to your budget? Are you ready for financial freedom? Then you, mama, are in the right place. Welcome to the One Income Family podcast, where you will learn what it looks like to budget on one income, how to partner with God in your finances, how to budget in a way that's easy to stick to, and how to cut costs and save money, all so that you can start building wealth. It is my mission to equip you with these tools so that you can live in abundance regardless of the amount in your account. Hey, I'm Molly, a budget coach for stay-at-home moms, and I know what it's like to struggle on one income. I've lived paycheck to paycheck, relied on being frugal, and failed many budgets until I learned how to budget without tracking. This has allowed my family to pay off debt and build wealth all on one income. So, if you are ready for financial freedom, then go grab that stroller, plug in those headphones, and let's get to it. Mama, I know that you are tired of getting off budget. I know that you're sick of being forced to be frugal. I know that you desire to have extra income to pay off debt and go on those fun family vacations that you dream of. I know that you're ready to stop living paycheck to paycheck so that you can live abundantly and thrive without feeling restricted. I want you to stop looking around. I want you to stop living in fear, and I want you to lean into an easier budgeting system. I am going to help you create a budget that you can stick to. I'm going to help you create a budget that doesn't rely on tracking simply to stay on budget, and it is going to be a budget that portrays what is important to you and your family. No giving up Starbucks, no giving up Netflix. Your priorities are what fills in the budget. I want you to go right now to calendly.com/Molly Bunnell and get started with me so that you can start living your life. Go again to calendly.com/Molly Bunnell. That's calendly.com/Molly with a Y, B as in boy, ENELL. Are you in? Alrighty, so if you are here, then I know that you are like me and that you are going to agree when I say that telling yourself no is one of the hardest things to do, right? And even like in my situation when it comes to finances, it's more telling my husband no. So he's the spender in the family, right? I would be content with just letting the money sit in the account, not use it, just because I don't really need it. And then when I do need it, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's there. I can use it. I can go and do whatever the thing is that I want to do, right? But my husband, on the other hand, he sees something, or better yet, he sees me look at something, pick it up, think about it, put it back down. Next thing I know, it's in the cart. And when he does stuff like that, it's hard for me to tell him no and to say, well, it's not in the budget, or not right now. We need to create a frugal plan around this before we go ahead and just buy the thing. Well, that's what this episode's about, right? Helping us to say no in these times. And it's not always easy. It's not always fun. Like these times when we see the thing that we want, we've gotten so used to instant gratification that we're just like, oh yeah, I've got a credit card, or oh yeah, there's some money in the savings, whatever your preference is, you just end up transferring the money, pulling the cash, using the card, and then in the long run, you're like, oh my gosh, why did I do that? Now I've got these bad spending habits that I can't stop. I don't know how to stop them. Well, you, mama, are in luck because that's exactly what today's episode is about. So I am going to be giving you 4 ways to help yourself really be able to think about the no and the yes, like to help you to decide the best route for you, to help yourself to say no in the situation if that's the right action to take, right? I don't want you just to say no because you think that you should say no. I want you to actually be mindful about what it is that you're saying no to in order to really know what it's going to do, right? I kind of just went into the first thing. So let's dive into the 4 tips. The first tip that I want you to use, and this is something that is in everything, right? But it's to be mindful. It's to be mindful about what you're saying no to in order to say yes to whatever it is that you want to buy. So when you want to buy something, I want you, maybe you can't physically sit down, but to not feel like you are trapped in the moment. Like our emotions are a good thing to have in our spending, right? Emotions keep us on edge on whether or not we should be buying something. But sometimes our emotions get played upon. So that is what selling pretty much is playing upon your emotions to get you to really desire and want this thing, whether it's a need or a want. And that's what salespeople do. That's their job, is to get you to want this and to really desire it. And sometimes if it's not something that you actually need, you still end up buying it because they've somehow played your emotions to a chord that you do need it. Like it's going to make your life so much different. It's kind of like these things that you see on, I say TikTok, but I don't have TikTok, so I don't really know, but I'm assuming that it's the same as like what you see on Facebook, on Snapchat, on Instagram, and all these other social medias, the things that are trending, the things that you see people all the time saying, oh my gosh, I got this awesome makeup. Oh my gosh, I got this awesome stuff to make your belly look flat, which yes, if that's something that you want and you have the finances for it, then go ahead and get it. But if it's something that's going to make you go into the negative, or if it's something that's going to make you not be able to pay your bills or buy groceries, then no, getting those things are not a good idea. And that's what I'm talking about. Like they really play on your emotions about whether or not you should buy something. And that's why when you sit down and you really think about why you want that thing. Like, is it because somebody's trying to convince you that you need it? Or is it because you truly need the thing, or you truly want the thing because you really do not like whatever it is, or you really do like, and it's going to amplify your life, right? So one way that you can really decide whether or not it's a good thing to buy and to be able to tell yourself no without feeling the guilt or without feeling the pressure, even when you say yes, like whatever your answer is to ask yourself, by saying yes to this thing, what am I saying no to? Am I saying no to being able to buy groceries? Am I saying no to being able to pay bills? Then yeah, you should not be getting that thing, right? But if you're saying no to maybe going out to a movie, or no to maybe a coffee, then yeah, those things can be handled back and forth. You can say, yeah, I'm just going to skimp out on the coffee this go around and get this other product that I really would like to try out and see if I like, right? So that's one way that you can really help yourself decide if you should say no and if you should say yes. Like, what is it by buying it? How is it going to affect your life? How is it going to change the way that you are going to spend your money? So definitely, first and foremost, be mindful. Second, I want you to create a spending account, which if you come and get coached by me, this is something that I will help you set up, which is my digital cash envelope system. And it has a spending account for you. But if you don't come work with me, then I want you to set yourself up a bills account and spending accounts for both you and your husband, because that is how you're going to be able to get the things that you want without feeling restricted, without feeling like you have to say no to every single little thing. And it's going to make you also feel like you aren't having like a, what's it called? Something that you give to your kids. You give money to your kids. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the word, but you totally get what I'm saying. And if you know what it is, shoot me an email so I can remember what the word is. But anyways, having this spending account is going to allow you to get the things that you do want. Like if you have the finances, if you are on a bare bones budget, then this is going to be really hard for you. But most of the time, you just have your budget set up to where lifestyle creep has happened. And even though you have more money than maybe you did before, you're still spending every single dollar instead of putting that margin back into your account. And so having this spending account, allowing yourself to maybe save up for the things that you do want or buy the things in the moment that you want, will allow you the freedom to be able to say no when it comes to other accounts. So like if it's going to affect the bill account, or if you have to pull money from the bill account, the answer is obviously no. If you have to pull money from, say, you have a grocery or a gas account, then obviously the answer is going to be no, because you need the money for the groceries, you need the money for the gas, right? And so if it's in that account, your bank account is going to tell you no, whether you have the money in there or not, right? And so then you have to be mindful and intentional with what's in your spending account, because if you just go spend willy-nilly, then maybe something comes around that you really truly want, you can't get it, or you got to save up for it, right? But by giving yourself that freedom, you stop restricting yourself and you stop feeling like you never are able to get the things that you want. So give yourself some freedom. And the really hard things, like if you are struggling really badly with transferring money regardless, then pull cash out. Because when you have cash, it puts that emotion back in your spending. It's like, I have to give this money away. I don't want to give this money away. Or how much money do I actually have? If I go up to the cash register, am I going to have enough to cover what it is that I want to buy? Or am I going to have to be embarrassed and put something back? Like, that really helps you be able to not spend money when you don't have it, right? And I don't know about you, I'm not a spender, right? But cash, for some reason, I never use it. It just sits in my wallet. And if money could go bad, it would essentially go bad in my wallet because I don't use cash. And so that is a good thing for me too. And it's not because I forget about it. It's just like, nah, I don't want to use the cash, so I'm going to use my card, right? And if you put that boundary up and you allow yourself to only use the cash, then it's going to help you also be more mindful, be more intentional with the way that you are spending your money. But it also gives you the freedom to be able to buy the things that you want and not feel restricted, because that restriction is what takes your life from enjoyment to being super stressed and overwhelmed about your finances. And so We don't want that for you. I want you to be joyful. I want you to enjoy your life and not feel like you have to say no to every single little thing just because it's something that you want. I want you to be able to buy the things that you want that bring you joy. If you like to read books, go out and buy a book or maybe get the app, whatever you prefer. I prefer an actual hardcover book, right? But it's whatever it is that makes you feel joyful. I want you to stop restricting yourself and allow yourself and your husband to be able to get the things that you want and not feel like you are a slave to your budget. The third thing that you can do to help you say no is to replace a bad habit with a good habit, or just simply create a system to support your no or your yes. For instance, if you are struggling, let's say with, you like to buy gifts. Let's say that you like to have a whole bunch of gifts stocked up so that you can give gifts to your friends your friends or your kids' friends or whatever is going on. You just like to give gifts. Say that that's what your vice is, right? So that's not a bad thing. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. However, if you create a system that sets up boundaries by giving yourself a limit of how much you can buy, then it's going to be easier for you. If you also set up a price point of how much you can spend on that item, then your budget can handle it, especially if it's put in the budget, if it's budgeted in and it's expected that this might happen, right? So say that you like to have maybe 20 things on stock or on hand, whatever you want to say, in your closet or wherever you store your gifts, right? You like to have 20 gifts on hand for both adults and children, and we'll split it up and say 10 for adults, 10 for children. And as you use those things, and the number goes down and you're not fully stocked, then you can go out and buying the thing can be a yes, as long as you are able to buy everything else that needs to be bought, right? You should definitely first buy the important things, and then with what's left over in that category, you can get your gift. If it's a $20 gift, then go ahead and get it, right? So help yourself to say no when you don't need it. If you have your 20 gifts on hand in your closet and you know that you don't need any more, but you see something that you really like, you can go, okay, what am I at? Do I have enough? Am I full? Can I buy this? Should I buy this? And you can see that you are stocked. I don't know, maybe you have a piece of paper, or maybe on your phone, you keep track of it. As you use them, you can check it off or cross it off or whatever your system is that you want to create. But by creating those systems, it helps to keep yourself accountable. It helps you to be able to say no when you don't have the finances for it, and to say no if you're already stocked up. So what is it? What system can you put in place for your vice? What system is going to help you be able to say no, to put a limit on it, like a price point or a number? What can you do to help yourself say no in the moment when emotions are high and you see something and it makes you excited and you're like, oh my gosh, this person would love it, but I don't actually have the finances for it. That doesn't mean they can't get it in the future. Maybe when you do end up spending whatever the thing is, you can find it again and you can buy it, right? So give yourself that ability to say yes or no with facts instead of emotion. Okay, and then the fourth thing, this is going to be a fun one, right? It might be a little bit of a struggle, I can tell you that, because it deals with two different people, but it's to involve your husband. And I don't mean by making him your boss, essentially, but let him be your accountability. Tell him your plan. Say, I'm going to go out, I'm going to buy this much in clothes. We have it in the finances, this is the amount of money I have. And if you have it in cash, it will make it even easier, right? But maybe it's your grocery plan and you're struggling to stick to your grocery plan, which if I was struggling, I just wouldn't take my husband because, again, he's the spender and likes to buy whatever he sees in the moment. But still, like, set up a system with your husband where you're like, okay, I need help. I'm struggling to stick to this amount. I like to just buy whatever I see in the moment. Maybe the kids are like saying, I want something and I just really want somebody to hold me accountable that's going to keep me from constantly buying something for the children just because they want to throw a fit for it, right? Maybe you don't take your children, but it's not always easy to not take your children to the grocery store. So I feel like that is a silly thing to put in place. Like, if you are struggling that much, then yes, find a way to not take them with you or do grocery pickup and then they don't go inside. But it's good for them to hear no. It's good for you to tell them no because you're setting boundaries and you're helping yourself be able to stick to your budget and to teach them how to budget and how by getting them something every single time, it's affecting the budget, right? Every now and again, there's nothing wrong with that. But when they want something every time and you say no, and then they throw a fit until you get embarrassed and you buy it anyways just to make them quiet, then that's not helping anyone, right? It's not teaching anything. It's not helping you. It's not helping the kids. And so help yourself by setting up a system with your husband. Tell him what you plan to buy, tell him what you don't want to buy. And when you get home, let him know what happened. Let him know if you bought the thing, let him know if you didn't buy the thing. And then, oh my gosh, as I was writing this up and this part just popped into my brain and I got like butterflies in my stomach. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could even do that, but it's so good. It's so hard. But if you bought something that you didn't want to buy, you ready for it? Take it back. Yeah, like that would be super hard. But if it's something that you're serious about and you really want to find a way to break the habit, then the things that you overbought, put them in a pile, put them back in a sack, and take them back to Walmart or wherever it is that you bought them from because they affected the budget. You need to put the money back into where you took it from, where you transferred the funds from, right? So that you know that you're able to handle your bills and all this kind of stuff. And yes, it's hard, but the hard things are what form us into the people that we are. So if you're serious about this, take that extra step. And if this is something that you try, definitely come and either shoot me an email of how it went or come over to the Facebook group and let's connect and talk about like what it made you feel like, how it helped you, like what did it do in your brain to have to take it back? I know in my brain it went back to, oh my gosh, like it kind of felt like I was stealing something, right? Like our parents made us take the thing back that we were stealing or like that we couldn't get the thing that we wanted. Like again, our parents telling us, no, you can't get that thing. You need to put it back on the shelf. Like it kind of feels like a slap on the hand. But like I said, if you are that serious about it and you really want to break this habit, then take that extra step that's going to help you put those blocks up in your brain. And it's not like you can't get it. It's just help yourself to create a system so that by getting it, it doesn't affect your finances and your goals for what you want to do, right? You don't want to put yourself into a bad place simply because you really wanted something that wasn't in the budget. And like I said, it's not like you can't get it. You just have to make sure that it's there. You have to be mindful and intentional with your finances to allow yourself to be able to get it in a way that's going to like fuel the family, bring joy to the family instead of bring death and just take and just, it's not fun to live in that way and to feel like you are restricted. It's not fun to feel like you can't do things. That's why if you set up that spending account, if you're intentional about your spending and you work on replacing your habits so that you can do the thing, then it's so much easier to actually either buy the thing or not buy the thing because you are doing it with facts instead of emotions. Okay. And there is one more note that I do want to say on like involving your husband. I want you to not think of it like you're having to ask for money because he makes the money, right? You are a team, and regardless of who goes out and makes the money, it's still both of your money because you are married. And so the money is both of yours to spend together. But you have to work together and you have to be a team. And this is one way that you can work together as a team. But I want you to think, like sometimes it's still really hard to think of it this way, but I want you to think of how a team works. So think of sports. If everybody on the team played the same position, you would never win because there wouldn't be defenders. There would only be offense, or maybe there would only be defense and no offense, right? If you don't have a full team that does both things and works together, and some people guards a certain part of the floor and another people another part of the court, then you are never going to like be able to stop the play and put it into offense where you can succeed, right? And so your job, you have picked this because you are a stay-at-home mom, is to take care of the kids. It's to take care of the house. It's to manage the finances and to do the things that are like homemaking, and maybe you do homeschooling, maybe you do other fun things that you really enjoy, right? But then his job is to go out into the world, make the money, and bring it home to you. That's how you support each other. Like sometimes I find myself making my husband's lunches because he struggles to make his own lunch, right? And we work together as a team. It's not like I'm his slave. It's not like I am his housemaid or his caretaker for the children. I chose to be home with the kids. I chose this life. And so I am going to do my part, taking care of the house, taking care of the children, taking care of the yard and all this stuff, because he is working a lot in order to bring home the income to be able to take care of our home financially. And so I kind of wanted to end with that just so that you didn't go into this thinking like you had to ask for money, or that you had to just feel like you are underneath him. You are not. You are a team member, and you do things at home that saves the family money. And then he brings in the money, and by saving the family money, by taking care of the kids, by making food for him so he doesn't have to eat out all the time, by maybe taking them like homeschooling. So then maybe instead of public school, you wanted to do like a private school, and that might cost more money, right? So the things that you are doing, you're saving the family money, and you are a team player. And so just by involving your husband is just as an accountability thread. It's not as a like to lord himself over you and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So just think of it that way, right? Okay, so I'm going to go over the 4 ways to help you say no. So the first one, be mindful. What are you saying no to in order to say yes, right? 2, create a spending account so that you can buy the things that you want and you don't feel restricted. 3, replace your bad habit with a good habit, or just simply create a system that will help you support your yes and your no. It will help you make decisions with facts instead of emotions. 4, involve your husband. Let him be your accountability, not the person that lords over whether you can do something or not with the finances, right? Just let him help you stick to your plan. Essentially, that's all it is. You just say, hey, this is my plan. I come back. This is what I did. I maybe overspent. Help me figure out a way to not overspend or bite the bullet and take the extras back, Yeah, if that ever happens to me, I'll let you know how that goes. Okay. But with that being said, I want you to know that I can help you with this. You don't have to do it alone. It's extremely emotional, finances are, and to be able to make decisions with facts instead of emotions is really difficult to get into. So I want you to know that this is something that I can help you with. I can help you take your emotions and turn them into facts so that you can say yes or no without feeling like you are struggling. I can help you create those systems to support your no. I can help you open up a new spending account for yourselves or help you get motivated to pull cash out instead of using a card, right? This is all stuff that I can help you with. And all you have to do to get started is go to calendly.com/Molly Bunnell and book a free call with me. Let's talk about what your struggle is and let's see what it is that I can do to help you specifically in your situation. This is personalized to you and it works for your family and whatever it is that you want to do. So again, go to calendly.com/Molly Bunnell and book your call today. That's calendly.com/Molly with a Y, B as in boy, ENELL. And with that being said, I will see you back here again next week on another episode of the One Income Family Podcast. Before you go, I hope this episode has ignited a fire inside of you, and I pray that it creates long-lasting impact. Did you know that you too can impact other one-income families? All you have to do is leave a written review and you help get the podcast in the hands of other mamas in need. You can also text this episode to that friend who is also knee-deep in the same kind of chaos as you and inspire them to make a change. Also, your review lets me know that you're enjoying the show, and that lights me up. I get so excited to hear from you. Another great way that we can connect, though, is through the One Income Family community over on Facebook. So after you're done leaving that 5-star review, head on over to the community where you will find other mamas working their way out of the chaos. You can ask your questions and connect with others who truly understand what you are going through. I cannot wait to connect with you in the community. Until then, I will see you right here next week on another episode of the One Income Family Podcast.